The Elementals of Harmony, by fan of most everything. Chapter 9. Steeple Plane Chase. Over the course of the morning, there had been shouts, booming laughter, thunderous footfalls, thunderous thunder, and the blood-chilling battle cry of a supercharged fanfare. While Ponyville emitted odd sounds at semi-regular intervals, very few of them had this level of persistence, and none of them had this specific blend of noises. As such, it should come as no surprise that an increasing number of ponies were being awakened by this unprecedented manner of cacophony, nor that many of them were milling about outside trying to figure out what in Celestia's names was causing all of it. Obviously, the more ponies did this, and the longer they spent doing so, the greater the odds that some pony was trying to get hurt. Luna, being a mare of reason and intellect, had deduced this long before it became an issue. As such, she surveyed the village from the roof in the town hall until the number of bystanders had reached a satisfactory level. Once that was the case, the princess took flight above the eternally located administrative building, then cast a brief magical shadow over the area to bring every pony's attention to the sky. Just in case some residents hadn't gotten the hint, she cleared her throat while using the official royal Canterlot voice. Satisfied that every eye was on her, she began a proclamation the same. Attention, citizens of Ponyville! This is thy princess, Luna Diana Hecate Regina Nox Alicor! Rest assured that the strange and peculiar entities within thy village are being brought to heel by thine own Didgeridoo. Fear not, good ponies, for she has everything under control. Remain within thy homes, and all shall be well shortly. That is all. As is often the case with the Royal Canterlot voice nowadays, the listeners retained more about the volume of the message than its contents. However, one datum did manage to stick. Alas, the pin that there behoves. We're doomed! Scream to run in circles, it's our only chance! Dizzy managed to double face up. She swore to never buy flowers again. Luna, meanwhile, contemplated an experiment. When he's supposed to blunt trauma, what would break first? Her skull, or the roof of the building? Sonoria Country and Golden Harvest the Fifth, or Karen Tarp as he preferred to be called, was main thing. Cordial business rival Sweet Apple Acres, long-suffering refrigerator refiler, potential heiress to a multi-billion-bit corporate empire, and in all matters involving Dizzy-Doo, terrorist provider of the doubt. Thus, after Luna's decree, Karen Tarp did not panic at the news that her fate apparently rested in her friend's hopes. Instead, she decided to track down said friend and get the details straight from the pony's mouth.
Excuse me, Kirka?
Eventually, good morning, Fluttershy! Dear Pony trailed off as she got to the soft Punkus' steed.
Oh dear, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. Sir Eric didn't either.
The massive larva, evidently named Eric, nodded enthusiastically. The orange-maned mare collected herself.
It's okay, just took me by surprise.
She moved the subject to one less hostile to her sanity.
I was hoping I'd see you, Fluttershy. But any problems again? Not lately. Have you seen Didgeridoo at all today?
The pink-maned pony shook her head.
Sorry, we only just got into town. I'll be sure to tell her you're looking for her if I see her.
Kirita smiled gratefully.
Thanks. I'll look on my own, too. I want to get to the bottom of this strange and peculiar entity business.
Once again, she stared at the giant worm. The kindest elemental stared back. A beat later, it licked her face and made a delighted sound.
Oh, he likes you.
The airplane could feel the massive cow-like, worm-like, marring her main style. Patience holding for years of friendship with Didgeridoo came to the floor.
I'm so glad!
Fluttershy gave a nervous grin.
I suppose we should keep going. Good luck finding Ditsy.
Carrot Top gave a mild grin. Thanks,
but I gotta deal with a brush first. Have a nice day, Fluttershy. And, Eric? Hey, Carrot Top, nice to see you from Lunaverse. Good to see you, too.
Trixie peeked through a shrub opposite the Carousel Boutique. Her eyes narrowed as she considered her target. After the fiasco that was her last visit to Ponyville, whoever ran this place would undoubtedly exercise the right to refuse service. At least, it was Trixie at the door. That was where one of the unicorn's newest spells came in. Trixie closed her eyes and lit her horn as she began to invoke the magic. Mystic vapor billowed about her, condensing into an illusion. She'd be disguised as one pony selected at random from the population of the entire town. Certainly, local businesses would think that nothing was amiss. So would the theory, at least. When the smoke cleared, the show mare examined her new mint green coat. A darkly whispered, "You," made itself known. Swallowing nervously, Trixie pulled her muzzle out of the bush. Turning to face the speaker, the disguised unicorn beheld the unicorn who was her disguise. "Well," said Trixie, "this is awkward." Lyra snarled and reared up, entering a pose that applied both imminent pain and uncanny bounds. "I don't want any trouble," she growled in a tone that was thus expressed the opposite.
What a coincidence,
answered the nervous nervous Selmare.
Neither do I.
She could feel the edge of panic in her voice, the shot of adrenaline turning her attempt at a smile into a baring of teeth. The poised anthrophile gave a derisive snort. "Tell it to Queen Doppelopoulos!" Before she could even ask, "Who?" Tracy dived to one side to dodge a hoof that certainly would have caved in her skull. "I'm sorry, it's just that I realized how long ago this fic was made, and it mentions Queen Doppelopoulos, and all I could think of is... Did he predict Chrysalis?" Idly, she noticed a golden glow about the appendage, and a massing luminescence being played over the pony's horn. On a more relevant note, she found as she dived closer to Petite's door. She scrambled towards it, only to be... She really didn't have a good sense of what was going on. For a moment, she thought the other mare was lifting her telekinetically, but there was no visible aura. The force was concentrated at 2 points near her spine. Lyra, meanwhile, had a firm grasp of the situation and a moment of her senses. She successfully cast a host of hand spell, and she was holding, lifting, something with said hands. And her words about doppelgangers had been validated. "You want to knock?" she quipped. "Let's knock." With that, she used her duplicate's face as a battering ram. Boom! She got in 2 good swings before the door opened, sending both sprawling inside.
Yes, what is it?"
demanded Verity.
"The door was unlocked, you ruffian, and... Lyra, is that you?"
The fashionista looked from the unicorn to the other.
"Was that you?"
The headed mare sprung to her feet, effortlessly bipedal. She pointed an accusing finger at her double. I told you all to walk among us, stealing our forms!"
"Yes, I suppose that is you, dear."
The desire knelt to the improvised stage weapon.
"Oh, you're right. It seems that those fingers have gone to her head."
"No. Rarity, listen. Lyra's warning you about changelings. Is warning you about the changelings. Run! Run for your life!" Hi, I'm Thorax. Trixie, why did we let Thorax into the studio?
"He's an intern."
Uh-huh. I made you hot chocolate.
This hot chocolate is unbelievable. The great and powerful audience would like to thank you all. You have been a wonderful Trixie.
Rarity blinked in surprise, to focus her magic for a moment. The illusion subliminated, leaving a puff of smoke in a dazed blue mare.
Trixie! Why, I thought she'd never show her face in Ponyville again.
She considered this for a moment.
Then again, I suppose she hadn't up to now.
Something about this filtered through the manual euphoria flooding Lyra's brain. Since when could you do that?
What, dispel illusions?
Yeah. Rarity demurred.
Oh, that's a little trick I did picked up today. In fact, so did you.
Before Lyra could ask the obvious question, the crystal made contact with her horn. Again, we got Carrot Top, Lyra, Trixie, and Ditzy. Now we just need Raindrops and Cherry. We got the whole team! As with any foal, Diggy's obedience of a given parental order was largely unpredictable. However, this was a special case. After all, this was her part in saving Ponyville from monsters that made even the princesses worried. The filly certainly didn't want the destruction of her hometown on her conscience. Fortunately, her horn seemed to have not gotten the memo. While the unicorn was still a few minutes from Carrot Top's home, she felt what could be described only as a full-body bounce, followed by a persistent tingle and a troublesome appendage. The tingle quickly intensified to a strong tug in a direction that was almost totally opposite to her adopted haunt's home on the edge of town. For a time, Dinky pressed on, struggling against the mysterious force. The streets of Ponyville like onto a perilous mountain slope. Eventually, the tug grew stronger than her little legs could resist, and the filly found herself being dragged headfirst towards the heart of Ponyville. She made sure to remember which ponies were already out, about, and staring at her. After all, her mom would never believe this if she didn't provide witnesses. The two planeswalker ponies sped towards the gargantuan temple.
Do we have a plan for that thing? Asked Tootsie. I've never been really one for plans, Piggy replied lightly. It's always more fun to see what happens. Even if what happens is us getting stepped on?
Near Pony considered this for a moment.
Oh yeah, that would be bad. The Pegasus gave a sigh. What's your story, Pinky? How did you even find the time to do everything you said you did? I never told you.
This prompted an asynchronous eye roll.
Pinky, you never told any pony in town that you're a planeswalker. Not like I was hiding it.
Just could see at that point.
So, your origin? Oh, right. Well, it started a few weeks after I got my cutie mark.
Pygamia's special talent was unconventional for the daughter of rock farmers. No pony could doubt that. Still, reasoned Clyde Pie, a little mirth and levity now and again never hurt no pony. Once some guidelines on a reasonable number of parties were established, along with plenty of reassurances that, yes, he loved her parties, it's just that there was work to do, Pygamia's festivities quickly became the family's favorite thing about Saddle Bay. Heck, Maud seemed very excited. Hooray. A few weeks after the first party, Blinkista gave us a disturbing nose. Sinkholes were appearing in the furthest edges of the North Field, with no apparent cause. Dominoes, do you think? Sue asked at night. The Pie Patriarch pondered his wife's proposition, then shook his head. I looked for myself after Billy Gasta told us about the holes. They were still there. Sue nodded, the conclusion obvious. Dogs would have filled him in by then. Her expression turned grim. Only one thing to be doing it then. Should I go get the hammer, mother, father? The bearded pony response was only a nod. I'll suppose you take Pickamine along with you, so what to do. Now again, pony are known. He sees growing up, and she'll be going to have to learn how to properly tend the crop.
Papa, what's the story? Pinky was so excited. A special lesson, just Papa had heard, because he was a big pony. I was going to learn big pony responsibilities.
For most ponies, this isn't more than a curiosity. For us, it's the piss of the worst sort.
Why?
It eats rocks.
The horrified gasp told Clyde that his daughter understood the threat posed.
But those are our rocks.
That they are. This is why today, I'll teach you what to do when a Zorn starts nibbling on the crop.
Pinky considered the other passengers in the Papa-pulled wagon. A small bag of gravel, an old plowboy, and a number 6 pickaxe.
It's not going to be nice,
She said quietly.
Is it?
What we'll be doing? Nay, it won't. But neither will the Zorn. Feel not pity for the beast, Pickamina. Like a great headless toad it is, not like your sister's rabbits.
The filly gave a shudder and a scandalized gasp.
You know about Inky's bunnies?
Clyde's face found itself smiling ahead of Skessel.
'Tis nearer a fool that does not hide some secret from her parents, darling daughter, and neither is a secret to parents that do not eventually discover.
He came to a stop, especially against Sirius.
We have arrived. Look well upon the signs of the scorn.
Yeah, he also knows about Maud's secret flower garden. Oh no. Please don't tell anyone about my secret flower garden. I worked so hard.
Okay, Dougie.
As the filly hopped out of the wagon, her father had to hold back another early grin. So much of his mother in her. Her sisters were Sue's through and through, but Pickamina was in so many ways a little surprised. Clyde ceased his wool gathering once he got registered his house accents.
Now close now. The ground is weak where it had been chewed through.
Oh!
Pinky backed away from the anthill-like mounds. Little hillocks topped with neatly cylindrical craters. She turned to her fire.
Now what?
Now we must lure the beast out. A bit of gravel on the lip of the hole will do that.
He began to unhitch himself to fetch the bag when a slight sound hit his prentice's ears.
Planky, to me.
The filly made all haste. Papa only shortened her name when she was in danger. Unfortunately, this very rush was her undoing. Not 5 feet in front of her father, Pinky stepped through a thin crust of dirt, tumbling through the chasm as it hid.
Clyde's ankles cried out, Holy God!
Ankles threw after her as she fell. After a surprisingly long time spent falling, the filly concluded that Zoran was probably not responsible for the sinkhole. What was, she didn't know, but it made a tunnel crackling with something like lightning, dropping from striking red to soothing blue and what seemed forever a smile. Eventually,
She hit the ground.
Pinky's eyes had been shut, anticipating the pain of an impact, but it never came. Eventually, she stood and opened her eye, curious to see if she could see so deep underground. To her surprise, she could. To her even greater surprise, he was in the library. There wasn't a great deal of books at the rock farm. Almanacs, scripture, geology textbooks mostly. Especially for Maud. You should see her face when she gets a new book.
Hooray.
Here, there were cells as far as the eye could see, bindings of every color of the rainbow, and no discernible holes in the ceiling. Actually, there was no discernible ceiling whence the holes might form. There's bookshelves and scroll stacks stretching up to infinity. Confused, alone, and increasingly worried, Pinky did the first thing that came to mind.
Hello?
A boisterous male voice answered her. My word, is it that time already? The filly looked around, but the sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. I'll still do this. Best greet my guest. With that, the speaker reported for her, as if by magic, which was exactly how he did it. Pinky gawked at the being before her. She never heard of humans, so she didn't know what to call him. She never heard of Pinky Marsetts, so she described her hair and beard as simply being poofy. She had, however, heard of Maris. Hello, she squeaked. The strange figure knelt down and adjusted his monocle to get a better look at the pony. Well, he bubbled. How delightful! How simply delightful! He gave a smile, rumpled her mane, and listened to giggle. Hello, my little pony. My name is Commodore Gruff.
I'm Pinkie Pie.
Answered Pinkie Pie, her answer returning as she determined that this stranger was nice.
You've got hot books.
Gruff sat on the floor, poked up, with no small amount of pride. Let go!
How does he get them all under the farm?
This prompted a bit of confusion and induced deflation. I'm sorry? Pinky gave another giggle.
Why, you didn't do anything.
She's a child, Gruff thought. I need to be direct. Why do you think we're under your farm?
Well, I was in the North Field, and then I fell for a really, really long time. And then I was here.
Ah, oh dear, threw her name at the bearded fellow. How do I explain this to one so young? Suddenly, we're not under your farm, Pinky.
Don't be silly. If we aren't under the farm, then where are we?
Might as well bite the bullet, Gruff, old boy. You're turned thousands of years into the past, my little pony, and even farther in space. Equestria hasn't even been made yet. Dizzy narrowly avoided flying into the side of the house.
What? Yeah, it took me a while to come to terms with it. I figured doozy among doozies. But, the
Pegasus bit back at an uncoherent scream.
that just raises further questions. Pinky shrugged. Hey, we gotta keep the reindeers interested somehow.
Hey, I'm already interested. You don't need to keep my attention. Carrot Top looked over her reflection critically, then nodded in satisfaction. It had taken a shower and a considerable brushwork, but her orange curls were back in position. Now she was a bit behind schedule, but she could easily make up for lost time, especially Twilight Sparkle wasn't ready to get back to her the feasibility of a retina scanner locked for her refrigerator door. The tuber specialist was headed for the front door precisely when a knock came from it. On the second time she opened it, and was struck dumb by the astonishment.
Oh, you! Oh, when?
To his credit, Angel Bunny waited until she could get out a coherent stream of news. Once the Earth Pony had managed to name her new guest, he gave a wave. He couldn't do much more. The language electromagnetic consists of mostly of coded thought impulses and the occasional empathetic gesture, and is not Bunny brain compatible. Carrot Top, however, had almost as much experience with the hair as Fluttershy. After all, when one tended a carrot top, altercations with rabbits were inevitable. However, when faced with a specimen of Angel's intellect, pest control became a battle of wits on par with that of Aristotle and Massey Spike Plate, infamous philosopher Khan of the Mongol hordes. Such, Carrot Top could guess why her nemesis had come to her front door.
Felicity came by less than a bit of an hour ago, heading further to town. You know about the giant worm thing?
Angel nodded.
Yes, he's writing it.
After a moment of internal debate, the farmer said, "Good luck!" The rabbit smirked and snapped off a salute, then set off in pursuit of his quarry. As the ear finally watched the rabbit vanish into the distance, her brain naturally processed what just happened. So he decided to add a stop by Barry Punch's place to today's errands. Years in the past. In a world in perfect balance between flesh and spirit, there is a river. At the source of that river there is a shallow cave. Inside the cave is a place of almost peace and tranquility. The serration of a distant waterfall mixes with the luster of rivulets that stream from floor to ceiling to drown out pointless thoughts. Paper lanterns hung by previous visitors sway in the gentle, continuous breeze that soothes the body and stimulates the mind. Carved into one wall of the cave is a large, somewhat abstract bas relief. The depicted figure clearly has 3 arms and a nice hat, but beyond what is real and what is symbolic is difficult to say. The serenity of the cave is the use of the pretense, were both interrupted by a sudden violent burst of light and sound, buffeting the lanterns, briefly soaking the walls. As the display prayer out, the formerly unattended shrine now had 2 beings before it, a man and his pony, or possibly vice versa.
Ah, good. We arrived on target.
Observed Tezzeret.
You're very a quick study.
Yeah.
Dizzy was occupied by her own thoughts. According to the human, the bubbles on her flank had been there when he had brought her to Ravega. That meant that her cutie mark had appeared either just before or during her first planeswalk. The second one supported this position. Divine entities, for all their chaotic rolling of time, space, energy possibility, made sense to her in ways that Sagai didn't. Navigating through the 12 dimensions, on average, had been proven as instinctual as flying through the 3 that were supposed to be. Sure, it was thin, threadbare silver lining on a gigantic black cloud, but at least it was something. Tap of the head brought the paces back to reality.
Sorry, you were saying something?
Tezzeret took a moment before shaking his head. Nothing important. Did he finally register his surroundings?
Well, what is this place?
This place is called Kamigawa. More specifically, we stand before. It was interrupted by the ambient breeze suddenly intensifying into a gale. Ditsy, remembering her flight school training, folded herself into a seated position, keeping a little surface area as close as possible. Tezzeret simply put his left arm in front of his face and muttered, "Drama queen." The winds possibly shifted direction, becoming an ever-tightening vortex, certainly under the description-defying sculpture. With an explosive burst of air that sent the lanterns bouncing off the cave ceiling, the wall was rendered blank. In front of that now smooth expanse of stone, however, hovered the very being it represented. It was very approximately humanoid, its face largely hidden beneath a wide straw hat. No, 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 we're doing the One Piece crossover January! A jagged slit in the headwear allowed a single piercing eye to peer through. 3 arms were evenly arranged around the base of its neck, each holding a katana. Again, the One Piece crossover, January. The rest of its form was draped in garments that were in robes so much as they were bolts of fabric, waving in a continuous unfelt breeze as they receded into infinity. That there was a small, decidedly infinite space behind the being did not seem to matter. In a flaring, howling voice like a library caught in a hurricane, it spoke. "You stand before the Hoden of the Mutation of the Seeing Wings." Tezzeret, having seen all this before, was less than impressed. He nudged the still-heading pony with a boot. "You can get up, Ditsy." Instantly she did so. She opened her eyes and gave a brief shout before screening them shut again. Both the strikes occupied eyed her quizzically. "What's wrong?" asked the artificer.
It's too bright.
The Pegasus had her forehead dragged over her eyes. She didn't know what she was looking at, but her vision saw as a blue sun, one that was about 508 from her face. "A horse that speaks." The bombast of the Miyoshit's earlier monologue was replaced by curiosity. His seat displays it drifted closer to Ditzy, prompting further whispering. Indeed. For his part, Deseret at least looked concerned about the effect this godlike being was having on the pony. Or maybe it was just gas. It's hard to tell with him. I believe I fulfilled my part of our agreement, wouldn't you? Quite. The spirit said absently. As promised, knowledge for knowledge. One of the floating lengths of cloth rolled itself into a cylinder, becoming a scroll case in the process. Miyoshi tossed it to the human. Written, there are the acts performed by the most venerable and decisive circuses on Kamigawa. The Tezzeret eyed a deep, if brief bow. You have my thanks, Ancient One. The kami gave a vague nod as he considered the exciting paces before it, amused aloud in an ocean of surf and scratching quills. She preserves our glory in a way that few mortals ever have. I'm sure it's quite flattering. Intriguing, certainly. But one's being unable to withstand the presence of another does not really lead to a fruitful exchange of ideas. We shall rectify this information. The embodiment of the entire plane's blue mana laid his hand on the pony's brow. Dizzy looked around. There wasn't anything to see. It was like being inside a cloud. Nothing but colorless opacity as far as the eye could see. Strangely, though, she could still see herself. This had been the case in her numerous other experiences when being stuck in a cloud.
What's going on?
We stand upon a thought.
Pegasus turned and beheld a king. There had been many guesses as to why Celestia had never taken the title of queen. Humility, image, respect for her mother, whatever she may be, the unicorn standing before Ditzy clearly had no qualms. A proud stallion, he stood at least 2.5 times as tall as the adolescent pony. His wings and horn were impeccable. His coat was a deep, lustrous blue, bordering on indigo. His mane seemed to treat gravity as a quaint suggestion, billowing behind him like a cloud, shimmering in shades from near white of a desert sky to almost black of the ocean's depths. His color swirled lazily, like a personal cyclone. But the most striking aspect of the strange stallion was his near total lack of abandonment. His sole accessory was, of all things, a straw hat to style which Dizzy had never seen before. Pegasus boggled vacantly at the stranger for some time before coming to her senses and prostrating herself. This prompted a bit of laughter from the deity.
Rise, dear child. I receive enough worship for my taste. You need not add yours.
Dizzy hesitantly went to her host.
Sorry, Your Highness. I just never met royalty before.
The alleged royal blinked, nonplussed.
Royalty?
He pondered this for a moment. A monarch of sorts, I suppose, though Pentrock would be a more accurate term. In any case, though I may be near to them, I am by no means the highest of the high.
Then why? How?
Ah, I see. He shook his head. As I said, young one, we are within a thought, a dream. What you see is what your mind chooses to make for reality. You see me as a king, because a king is the closest your mind can come to what I am. Dizzy scratched the knocked ground with a huff, digesting this tidbit.
Then how do I look to you?
The unicorn raised his eyebrows. I do not believe I've never been asked that question. I'm not quite certain if any kami has ever been asked that by any mortal. He smiled. Do you know what you have done, child? Pegasus thought. There seemed to be a genuine, happy smile.
Something good?
Ah, yes, yes indeed. Maybe it didn't dust her brain struggling to make sense of the impossible input. But to Ditzy, the unicorn began to trot animatedly around her. You see, there's the one thing I value above all else, above worship, above virtue, above even foiling the plots of certain honored siblings of mine. He stopped in his process and looked at her. Do you know what that is?
Your hat?
The blue god paused a moment at this, but his conversational momentum spurred back to action. Close, but not quite. No. What I above of all things is the new. That which I have certainly not experienced, which I do not already know. His gaze suddenly became arresting in intensity. Sea and sky are my eyes, wind and wave are my ears. There's not a single thing done in air or water in this world that I do not witness. He blinked. Dizzy realized he had been holding her breath. So you can imagine how excited I am when something novel presents itself to me.
Yeah.
When did her heart start beating at jackhammer frequencies? I do not encounter the new without gratitude. You may ask me of a boon as your comrade did.
Tezzeret?
The other horseshoe finally dropped.
You're that blue thing?
The unicorn made a great show of spreading his blue wings and moving his blue head from side to side. Why, yes, I suppose I am. Ditsy felt rising and bit her lips, unknowingly causing a scrunching face. The pony Jin of Seeing Winds smiled to himself. I believe I know what boon will be of greatest help to you. The Pegasus shook herself out of the oncoming fog.
What?
The energy danced along to Kami's horn, glowed in his eyes, danced in his mane. From his chest emerged an exteriorly human hand, making an arcane gesture. Insight. Tezzeret sighed. The problem with dealing with the spirits of Kamigawa was, to put it in a more familiar context, they had no middle gears. A Kami of rage was always angry, all the time. A Kami of deception couldn't be trusted, not even to be untrustworthy, as it might mix in the truth now and does to keep you on your toes. And, working with the ultimate embodiment of knowledge on the plane, one had to expect truly, literally, terribly ultimate knowledge. Every minute detail, catalog, cross-reference, with nothing left out. That meant that going after several yards of the scroll, Tezzeret had covered a stretch of time encompassing all of 7 seconds. Analysis of the scroll case indicated that it bore some manner of space-storing enchantment that made it significantly larger on the inside, so the manuscript might very well go on for miles. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was obvious to someone familiar with the mind of Sarika Samad, inventor of the Ethereum, Sphinx of questionable sanity, and Planeswalker of unknown persistence in space and time. Like any Sphinx, Circus loves riddles. However, his riddles were often designed on a planar scale, or larger if his actions on Kamigawa did hold some clue to his current whereabouts. He would no doubt require a careful reading of the entire transcript to understand. Literally nothing would be dismissed as inconsequential. No one said it would be easy, noted Doc Jess. I don't want it to be easy, answered Tezzeret. If it were easy, then it wouldn't be worth doing. I just want 1 or 2 steps to not entail insane legal logic and a complete redefinition of who I am as a person. Oh, that. I hear you there, buddy. And I just want to put up with the noise from next door. I can't imagine what that's like for you. The artificer was about to inquire more deeply into this, when a pulse of air burst from the steel forms of Dizzy Dew and the Meosian of the Seeing Winds. Both had been motionless since the spirit had touched the pony's forehead. A good 10 minutes about a human's estimate. Now both stirred. The student god repossessing itself in front of his shrine. The Pegasus trying to get his eyes to approach enlightenment. Tezzeret began rewinding the scroll. In a sarcastic and bright tone, he asked, Well, how did everything go?
It was.
Dizzy growled for a word that would successfully encompass everything that had just happened. She settled on enlightening. She bowed to the Meosian.
Thank you.
It has been our sincerest pleasure to be of service to you, Desirada Planeswalker. The man with the metal arm chose now to ruin the mood. We're quite through here. I don't mean to be rude. It's just that I'm on a tight schedule with a strict enforcer. Ah, yes. A noticeable chill entered the spirit's voice. The one who expressed his wrath on our most honored sister. There was a sound like a man slicing a river in half, or possibly vice versa, as the Meosian drew his swords. We have conferred with our other august assemblies on the matter. We four have, in a momentous occasion, come to a consensus, not only amongst ourselves, but with none other than the most gracious and vigilant sisters of flesh and spirit. When the presumptuous lineup of rotting yak seamen that refers to itself as Nicholas Boss next attempts to mar our world with his noisome presence, he shall meet the full fury of a universe scorned. Tezzeret, who in spite of himself had a distinct instinct for the dramatic, waited a beat before replying, Well, I suppose we'd best be getting on our way. Coming, Ditzy? The Pegasus shook herself out of the astonishment caused by the Kami's grim declaration.
Oh, sure. Where are we going?
Back to Ravnica. I'm calling in a favor. Rarity critically examined the appendices coming out of her forelimbs. She just couldn't see what Lyra saw in the things. Yes, the gifts of generosity could make the reasons behind the green unicorn's predilections clear as day. But frankly, Rarity didn't want to know. As far as he was concerned, any practical benefits these hands might provide were far outweighed by the aesthetic havoc they wreaked. A single knock on the door, more of a thud, really, brought the designer out of her contemplation. With a thought, she dismissed the graspers and rendered the crystal encasing of her horn perfectly transparent. No sense of frightening off customers, after all. Having made herself presentable, she answered the summons.
Welcome to the Kennesaw Boutique.
Indeed, it was Sitsy's fault, looking rather peeved at something.
Hello, Miss Rooney. What brings you here, darling?
Rarity guessed it was some event calling for formal attire, judging by the filly's demeanor.
Yes,
Answered Dinky, pointing to her horn. A look of surprise flashed across the fashionistas' face, before a knowing smile settled there.
dragged you all the way here, didn't it? Yeah, how did you know?
Rarity held back a titter at the child's look of amazement.
Something similar happened to me around your age, though I wasn't brought to anywhere nearly as fabulous.
She cleared the doorway.
Come in, come in. Unicorn magic never happens without a reason. I'm gonna find your special talent before you can say haute couture.
Dinky seemed unsure.
Mommy told me to go to Auntie Carrot and keep myself safe from the monsters. I assure you, Dinky, I will keep you safe as safe can be. I'll bring you back to your mother sporting a brand new breathtaking cutie mark. Well, okay, I guess.
As the filly entered the shop, a think came to her.
Is Susie Bell home? Did she try fashionista with me?
Rarity betrayed no visible reaction to this question, a testament to both her self-control and the generosity elemental's stabilizing influence.
Dear, Susie has tried everything one can do here 7 times. She may insist otherwise, but her talents clearly lie elsewhere. Hey!
The pony in question indignantly stomped downstairs.
That's not what you told me!
Rarity faced up. Dinky stared. Sleepbell looked from one to another, confused.
What?
With tact typical for her age, the blonde filly approached the preteen subject.
What happened to your horn? Huh?
Slee looked up.
Oh, oops.
In a rush to call out to her sister, the curly-maned foal had forgotten to hide the blue crystal encasing her horn. Her sister sighed and shook her head.
So much for my good deal today. John, I believe this is your cue.
The sisters heard a reply of course. Dinky simply saw the largest gemstones he ever seen popping out of a walk-in closet, followed by 4 of the second largest gemstones he had ever seen. A monster! It had taken over Sleepbell and Miss Rarity. The filly's pupils contracted to pinpricks, her legs paralyzed by fear. One of the smaller crystals drifted towards her. In all previous cases, once the elemental made contact with a unicorn's horn, the unicorn briefly lapsed into calm passivity, as her mind was integrated into the glowing assault. Dinky did not follow this trend. Once the jewel slipped over the tip of her horn, Dinky began screaming. The octahedron stopped moving. It began to glow from within with vivid multicolored light. The filly began whipping her head back and forth, trying to dislodge the source of a terrible, ever-intensifying pain. The sisters stared in horror for a moment before Rarity demanded, "What are you doing to her?" The elemental did not generally experience emotions. Being creating crystallized magic, it had to lack the requisite glands. As such, the instant nervousness creeping into an otherwise calm reply might have been Rarity's projecting.
There's been an anomaly. I can see that. How do we fix it? Said Dare.
The purple maned pony sorted through every spell known to the 3 unicorns and came out short.
How?
Sleepbell, meanwhile, was trying to help keep Dinky calm, or at least from hurting herself in her thrashing. She had registered the hot and cold rank dialogue, but paid no attention to it. However, as a consequence, necessity knew desperation begat invention.
Hush now, quiet now, it's time to go to bed.
The crystalline entity paused in explanation of how Rarity's aspirations on its parentage were ultimately insulting herself. There has been a shift in Dinky Doo's state of consciousness. Just in time to avoid permanent damage, no less. Well done, Sweetie Belle.
Sweetie Belle?
Rarity turned to the 2 fillies, pan forgotten in the week of the crisis resolution.
Why, yes, whatever did you...
Both foals were asleep. Slee draped across Dinky.
you authors do!
As the designer smiled with the heartwarming sight, the crystal on the blonde filly's horn resumed its progress into her skull. Ditsy had to admit, for a hot pink, hyperactive party animal with volume control issues, Pinkie Pie was quite good at stealth when she wanted to be. She managed to huff off Screwball, and sneak behind Applejack wholly unnoticed. Well, up until she said,
Hi, Applejack!
"More Pinkie! Pinkie!" The farmer's surprised leap probably would have been quite impressive. However, a hardest groan from the Odyssey Elemental's crown was keeping her from falling, and a jump instead of falling up. Thus, the artist Merritt did a fair imitation of an inelastic paddleball instead. As she got herself back on her horse, she asked, "How Celestia's night did you get up there?"
Oh,
Pinkie said smugly,
I have my ways. I have my ways.
"Uh-huh." A quick look found a probable cause. "I'm sure you didn't get an airlift for days to do."
Maybe.
Dizzy stared for a moment. Well, these are view. Shaking off, she landed on the mobile fruit brute.
Applejack, we need to talk.
The freckled pony raised an eyebrow. "I reckon so. You ready to answer honestly without no face of truth magic?" She smirked. "If you don't pardon the double negative." Pegasus sighed.
That's not really important right now. What is...
At that point in time, her daughter began to scream. Once amplified through the generosity elemental, Dinky's uncontrolled magic made the cry resonate in the enthusiastic fundament of the plane itself. What that sentence, magical technical babble, actually means is that a mother heard her child screaming in pain. The reaction should come no surprise.
Dinky.
Your pony's blank.
Did you hear thunder just now?
Asked Pinkie. Applejack shook her head. "Leia, that was the sound of air filling in space where a Pegasus and a big old hurry was standing. That's causes them all the time." She looked towards Ponyville, the race in which the great blur had been briefly seen visible. Never knew Disney could do if old ponies could do it.
A parent look a great grandpa likes for a child.
The farmer shook her friend in wonder. That tone had been downright sedate compared to Pinkie's usual exclamations. He even said, "Sad." Was that a thing possible? Yes. Yes, it is. That's why we love her. Pinkie's allowed to cry. Likely. The pirate pony turned, voice bright and bouncy as he was.
Yeah?
Applejack shook her head. Didn't realize he needed to say something. Your rod don't lift your hair. How exactly you plan on getting down? Pinkie Pie shrugged.
How are you?
The artist mare opened her mouth to reply, only realized he had no answer for that particular question. "I'm a big silly pony, Her friend nodded and put a foreleg over her shoulders.
Let's leave it to us professionals, dear.
Applejack sighed. "I suppose I might be being sensible to do. A pony's got right to their own blazes after all." Pinkie nodded enthusiastically. However, as he was going way to say was overwritten by the sudden appearance of a sheepish-looking purple pony.
Scribble, what's up?
The avatar gave a nervous grin and brought her foreheads together a few times. "Oh, Plankly, lose." The party pony delivered an unfestive glare at her summoning.
Screwball, what did you do?
The avatar hesitated for a moment, then spilled her proverbial guts. "Affable with his been to plug a chimney doctrine, elephant for agile desirous," she hastily added. "Halogen adjua genjun."
Oh, wonderful.
Pinkie gave a sigh of long-suffering endurance and the accompanying minions.
Well, go find Fluttershy.
Screwball hung her head. Zanzibar. She flew off as guiltily as a spiral-eyed, beanie-propelled manifestation of chaos can. Applejack looked at her friend with new wariness. "Oh, Plankly, care to explain what in the name of pie crust just happened?"
Later. Right now, we have bigger concerns.
"Like what?" As in response, the world seemed to tilt back, accompanied by a sound of a mountain threatening to fall over. As the view returned to its normal orientation,
Pinkie replied, I got one apple centipede.
"You got a new card!"
Yay!
Blessing of Seeing Winds. 3 colorless mana, 3 blue mana. Sorcery Arcane. Blessing of Seeing Winds can't be countered if you cast it from your hand. "I'm keeping this one!" Choose your card type. Draw a card for each permanent you control of that type. If you cast Blessing of Seeing Winds from your hand, You have no maximum hand size for the rest of that game. You can't have this card, it's mine! With the economy war over, Demiodes had spread its secrets of healing and restoration among mortal hands.